Now we have Cathedral of War. A land that enters tapped and has Exalted. And taps for 1 colorless. So I believe this is like from the first Ravnica set. Or no, not Ravnica, that was Alara. And I mean, it gives Exalted and Exalted stacks if you have more permanents than 1 that have Exalted. I don't see it like in most decks. I don't even know, I'm not even sure like if Rafik of the Many is still around these days, but yeah, might have its place in some Voltron decks. But compared to other land reprints we've seen, especially with the colors and everything, it just doesn't do it for me. Like, it's so muted. I mean, okay, the picture is also pretty shitty on this one, but still, like, compared to other things we've seen so far, like the Mana Confluence or the Cataracts, this is just not it. Next up, we have Bonder's Enclave. Also a land that taps for a colorless, but you could also pay 3 and tap it to draw a card if you have a creature with power 4 or greater. Definitely a nice land, nice utility land in a lot of decks, especially if you don't have too many colors where you need to like really get into the different, where you really are obligated to have a lot of color pips in your lands. But still, card draw on a land, I mean, bit conditional with power 4 or greater, but still card draw nonetheless. I really hope, though, that it's just the picture that is not as stellar with the colors, because as with the one before, it looks so muted in a way. I don't know. But still, a good land, like especially with others that we've seen already. Definitely better than some others. Although I wish there would have been a bit more colors on it. Then we have Isotil Explorer for 4 mana, an Insect Scout with 2/4. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Already good. You may play lands from your graveyard. That's almost insane with the first ability. And landfall, whenever a land you control enters, mill a card. Well, seriously, if the landfall wasn't on here, it would be even better. Because you risk milling something that you want to have in your hand or that is hard to recur. But just a combination of an extra land each turn and lands from your graveyard is fucking insane. Especially on 1 single card. And for 4 mana, yeah, that's definitely pretty nice. Like, pretty sure lots of decks will want to have this. Especially the Commander deck in Jund. But still, like, the landfall mutes it a little bit for me. I get that it almost needs to have a downside. For some decks it might even not be a downside, but yeah, this card definitely will have its time in the sun, as flavor text says. Next up we have Moonlight Meditation. 3 mana, enchantment aura, enchant artifact or creature you control. The first time you would create 1 or more tokens each turn, you may instead create that many tokens that are copies of enchanted permanent. Why? Seriously, why do we need this? There is no way that this will be used in any normal way. Like, this will get used and abused domestically all day long. Seriously, this is just dumb. I mean, it would even be dumb if you just get 1 token copy. But no, you get as many as the tokens you would produce. So let's say you get 5 tokens and you get 5 copies of something really busted. What are you doing? How do you get... Oh, seriously, this whole set just feeds my brain aneurysm one at a time. So let's see. Terra Symbiosis. For 3 mana you get an enchantment. Whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, you may draw that many cards. Do this only once each turn. Okay. I mean, compared to the last one we just looked at, also an enchantment for 3, this one doesn't seem as busted, but it's definitely a damn good card. I mean, if you, let's say, put 3 counters on a creature, you draw 3 cards on an enchantment for 3, this is sick. There are a lot of decks that play around with +1/+1 counters that would love that. And this is just, especially since it's a May ability. You don't even have to draw that many cards if, like, you deck yourself or something. So yeah, this is nice. Then we have Timeline Color. Double black for a Drix Warlock, the 2/2 of haste, and you may cast this card from your graveyard using its warp ability. So there's warp 1 and pay 2 life. So it's a hasty 2/2 that you can play from your graveyard for 1 black and 2 life. You could use it as sacrifice fodder. You could just attack with it for 2. You could even block with it for 2, since I know you can't block with it since warp is only in your turn and it gets exiled at the end of turn. But still, pretty sure this could see play in like aristocrat style decks, something that wants sacrifice fodder, or just have something creatures entering and leaving the battlefield. 100% this will see play. Then we got Warping Whale, an instant for 2 mana. The comic book style, really nice. Still not a fan of the templating though, but the art itself, like the idea, is really nice. So you choose one, either you exile target creature with power toughness 1 or less, you counter target sorcery spell, or you create a colorless Eldrazi Sign token, a 1/1 that has sacrifice this token and add a colorless. I mean, it's 2 colorless mana, or well, 1 generic and 1 colorless, and it is played like especially in Eldrazi and artifact decks and stuff. Still, the art, the idea to make it comic book style is great, although I'm pretty sure the price will go over the 50 cents that is printed on the card. Then we have a pretty sus card, Vote Out, for 4 mana. It's a sorcery with Convoke, destroy target creature. The best part about it is it's not just an Among Us reference, but it also has Convoke, so your crew members vote for who to destroy. Just like the indestructible food, this is an absolute flavor win, 100%. And also pretty realistic that we'll see some kind of play. But just for the flavor, absolute win. Then we have Command Bridge, a land that enters tapped. When it enters, sacrifice it unless you tap an untapped permanent you control, and afterwards it taps for 1 mana of any color. So, I mean, it enters tapped. You have to tap some other permanent you control to keep it around. But after that, it's a command tower. And it's in standard. So, yeah, there's your color fixing. Then we have Embrace Oblivion for 1 black. Sorcery has an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature, destroy target creature or spacecraft. Well, I mean, we have seen effects like this in a lot of different ways, shapes and forms. This just includes spacecraft now as well. And I mean, at least in limited, it will for sure see play. Not sure about constructed formats, but depending on how prevalent and how busted spacecrafts will be, it might see play there. So we have to wait and see. What the fuck is this shit? I thought the Chinese weather balloon was already handled. We have Susur Sekundi, Void Altar. It's a land planet that enters tapped, taps for a black, and for 12 or more counters on it, for 1 in the black and tap, pay 2 life, sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, activate only as a sorcery. So we have seen the others as well, and I really have to say, it's not the best of them, but still, it's 100 times better than the red one. Like, what the fuck is this curse with red mythics? Like, even if that's the worst of the planets, it's still, or the second worst of the planets, it's still miles ahead of the red planet. No questions asked. Like, this is just sad at this point. And the Casual Vestige. For 6, creature Eldrazi with 7/5. When this creature leaves the battlefield, draw a card, then you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, and warps for 4. So you can warp it for 4, it enters, and when it leaves at the end of turn, you put something down that costs 4 or less, and when it comes back for 6, you can do the same when it dies for something that costs how many lands you ever have at that point, and it's 7/5. Like, it's good, especially since it's colorless. The warp on it makes it even better. And what I already said before is just, what if you create token copies of it that you do sacrifice at the end of turn? Like, there are more than enough ways to do that. I mean, you keep the original around and you just sacrifice the tokens over and over. And you still get to put something down. Let's say you pay a copy spell for free. Free mana that makes a token copy of it. It dies at the end of turn. You put something down that costs 6 or less. And next turn you do the same. Put something down that costs 7 or less. I don't know. It's just... I think this card can and will be abused in some degenerate combo ways. Like, I'm not looking forward to it. Seriously. I'm not looking forward to it. Although I'll probably do it myself at one point. Now, who's this dude? We have Aphorel, Dreaming Acolyte. For 3 mana, you get a legendary human cleric with 2 free, and when Aphorel enters, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card, and during your turn, Aphorel has Death Touch. I mean, for an uncommon, he filters you, he even gives you card advantage if you discarded an artifact card, and he has Death Touch during your turn, so your opponents most likely don't want to block him. I mean, it's not too bad. In the right shell, this will definitely get you some decent value. Next up we have Muda Vault. Classic land, played in almost every tribal deck, from Merfolk to Slivers to Elves. Taps for a colorless, and for 1, it becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types until end of turn. So it gives you a body of a specific creature type if you want to. Taps for a colorless, it enters untapped. What is there to say? Just a good land. And the art on this one is just amazing. This will also be one of those that will pop damn nice as foils. But just like that, I don't want to see the prices right now. So Farah, the Super Void, for 4 mana, legendary enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent chooses a creature they control and exiles it. At the beginning of your end step, if a player controls no creatures, sacrifice Sophera, then put a creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield under your control with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. So it is a Grave Pact with 1 less black pip. It exiles instead of sacrificing them or instead of dying, and you get something back when it leaves the battlefield. I mean, it leaves itself as a player has no more creatures, but this is just... it almost hurts. Like, getting in a commander pot, getting this resolved against you, against some token or aristocrat player, this will hurt so damn much. Like a Grave Pact never could. Definitely a good card, but I'm not looking forward to playing against it. Definitely not. Then we have Watery Grave, not a regular art in the set, and just the idea that they printed Shocklands into Standard in a landfall heavy environment, and also finished the other cycles of the other cards that have land types, the ones that cycle and the ones that enter untapped if you have enough basics. Like, playing multicolored in this environment will be the easiest that it was in a long time, I imagine. Also good for the price to get them down a little bit, although like as long as they will be in Standard, probably they will still remain pretty price tag. But at least you get more into circulation that way. So definitely good for newer players. Same with Stomping Ground. Land, Mountain, Forest, pay 2 life or it enters tapped. Just to have the choice to have it enter untapped if needed. And that it has land types that can be fetched. Really, really good. Hope prices come down even more. It will take some time till this set leaves Standard, but at least to have it more available for new players will definitely help, especially Commander players. Same goes for Sacred Foundry. Shocklands will always be good to have in almost every deck. Like, if you have more than 3 colors, right now it's like you even run better with Triomes than with the Shocklands. But still, with 2 or 3 colors, you can't go wrong with Shocks. All day, every day. Godless Shrine, White-Black Shock, 2 life or enters tapped, and just gorgeous art on this one. Definitely one of the more impressive that I've seen of those lands so far. From the regular set at least, like we won't start talking about the full arts and stuff, but definitely one of the more beautiful lands they have in this set. Breeding Pool, also definitely on the top end of land arts. Still, Shocklands, always needed, always good. Love to see it. Then we have Zarel, Genesis Shepherd, the Junt Commander for 5 mana. He's a legendary creature, Insect Druid, 2/5, with flying, and you may play lands from your graveyard. So he has a Crucible of Worlds stapled onto it. Whenever you sacrifice another non-token permanent during your turn, put the number of +1/+1 counters equal to Cyrill's power on up to one other target creature. So if you have a way to put more counters on him or just buff him up somehow, whenever you sacrifice a land, which will be pretty regular in this deck as it seems, you can buff another creature by at least 2 power, or 2 +1/+1 counters, if not much more. Yep, this could definitely get out of hand. I mean, just to have Crucible of Worlds in the command zone is already pretty big. So yeah, definitely will see play not just in its own deck, but maybe also a Windgrace deck or other landfall decks, as long as you play Jund colors. But with everything that is usually in those landfall decks, like a Gitrog monster or Titania or other stuff, this will get mad. Kilo, Apogee Mind. For 3 mana, Jeskai colors, that's it. You get a legendary artifact creature, Robot Artificer, 3/3 with haste, and whenever he becomes tapped, proliferate. It doesn't need to be attacking, doesn't care how it gets tapped, just proliferate. And since he's an artifact, there are more than enough ways to untap him. So seriously, this artifact commander deck will be goddamn oppressive. It's just not funny anymore. Like, this will be so damn insane when this comes out. Like, compared to decks, commander decks from 10 years ago, this is just fucking insane. No doubts about it. The Seriema. For 3 mana, you get a legendary artifact Spacecraft. When the Seriema enters, search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. And it has station, and with 7 or more counters, it's a 5/5 flyer, and other tapped legendary creatures you control have indestructible. That's a damn sisay card if I ever saw one. I mean, for free on ETB, you search any legendary and put it into your hand. Already something you want to do in that deck. And if you get to the 7 counters, other tapped legendary creatures have indestructible. So if you attack with them, they are tapped. So they will be indestructible during combat. They will also stay indestructible on your opponent's turn if they try to play removal. That destroys. Won't work. So this is just... I said it so many times so far. I think I've already said it mostly all 5 minutes at this point, but this is just dumb. This is just so damn stupid. Like, no way this will get out of hand. No way this will get in any way oppressive. Or also for like a Joda deck, where you also want to play a lot of legendaries. Still, if it would just be, like, if they would just be indestructible during combat, I could get around it. I could say, okay, nice. Like, they survive combat, but at least I can wipe the board on my turn. But no. Since they will be tapped on every other opponent's turn, a board wipe doesn't do shit. Except for maybe a Farwell. So, yeah. This just gets dumber and dumber by the second. I'm still not sure what drugs wizards are on, but please stop it. Get some help. Then we have Tezzeret, Cruel Captain. A colorless planeswalker for free. Just let that sink in for a second. A colorless planeswalker for 3 mana. That starts with 4 loyalty. And as if that wouldn't be enough, he has a static ability with whenever an artifact you control enters, put a loyalty counter on Tezzeret. Peek that, an artifact you control. Not a non-token artifact, an artifact. So how about treasure tokens? Oh, I make 5 treasures, I get 5 loyalty on Tezzeret. Just like that. Sorry, but it's just dumb. It's just stupid. They couldn't at least make him like 4 or 5 mana. No. 3, that's more than enough. Okay, sure. So what are his other abilities? Well, for 0, you untap target artifact or creature. If it's an artifact creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay, sure. For -3, you search your library for an artifact card with mana value 3 or less, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. So, like, let's say in Commander, yeah, for sure you search your Soul Ring. Right away. You play it, he gets a counter back, he's still at 2. Okay? So what's the -7? You get an emblem with, well, that's always the best start to everything, a fucking emblem that you can't interact with and it just stays there forever. So, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target artifact you control. If it's not a creature, it becomes a 0/0 robot artifact creature. So you're telling me that you can just buff up your artifact creatures, and if they're not already creatures, they become creatures. Yeah, I mean, no way this could get bad, right? I mean, it's not like you can have the same emblem more than once, right? So that you have like 3 emblem triggers on the stack on the beginning of each combat. So theoretically, you could put 9 counters on an artifact creature. No way something like this could happen. No way, no. So please, let this be normal. Or at least a little bit more normal or less degenerate than the rest we already had. At least I see a case, so that's already a plus. So I have Sammy, Ship's Engineer. For 4 mana, you get a legendary creature, Human Artificer, a 2/4. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more tapped creatures, create a tapped 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. Okay, so thank God. It's a value engine. You don't need to attack with anything. They can also be tapped through any other means. And you get 1 2/2 colorless robot artifact. Unless, of course, since he's white, may have some token doublers out or something. But at least also the tokens enter tapped. So thank God. Like a power level that is not busted as hell or just pure ass. Just like something normal. Praise be Kitty. And to finish us off, we just have the full art lands. And I have to say, those are all really damn well made. Look really nice. And I'm pretty sure like most of the spacecraft you see in there are somewhere on some of the other cards we've already looked at. So yeah, I'd say all in all, a good job, but just please, for the love of God, lay off the drugs, get some help, and return to power creep and stop that goddamn power marathon. Thank you.